I wouldn't say it didn't move, it was definitely five.
Whereas like your normal slider is more of a sweeper.
And but like yeah, like I was there was some that had like what do you say?
Now here are the starting lineups. First, from head coach Nathan Choate for the visitors from Los Angeles, California, the Loyola Marymount Lions. Leading off in right field, number 30, Dean Jow. Batting second in left field, number 4, Seamus Barrett. Batting third and catching, number 23, Jared Thomas. Batting fourth at third base, number 24, Diego Vaquero. Batting fifth, the designated hitter, number 5, Connor Lau. Batting sixth at first base, number 8, Dylan Dennis. Batting seventh in center field, number 15, Devin Ornelas. Batting eighth at second base, number 2, Cole Roberts. And batting ninth at shortstop, number 6, Benny Casillas. And now from head coach Jeff Loomis for the home team, your Portland Pilots. Leading off in center field, number 4, Jake Holcroft. Batting second and catching, number 13, Nick Clem. Batting third at second base, number 11, Ben Pataxel. Batting fourth in left field, number 14, Bradley Knight. Batting fifth at third base, number 2, Evan Scavato. Batting sixth, the designated hitter, number 7, Jake Sukata. Batting seventh at first base, number 28, Zach Poliat. Batting eighth at shortstop, number 6, Spencer Scott. And batting ninth in right field, number 9, Henry Finch. The starting pitcher for the Pilots today is number 25, Joey Gartrell. Fans, please rise if you are able and remove your caps for the playing of the national anthem.
The spring showers couldn't keep us away as the skies are favorable here in Portland, Oregon today as we pit two teams atop of the West Coast Conference with the LMU Lions visiting the Portland Pilots. Welcome to Joe Etzel Field. I'm Brian Slack, joined by my broadcast partner and the head coach over at Mount Hood Community College, Corey Keir, and we'll have your call today. These two teams at the top of the West Coast Conference right now, both at 7-2, but it's LMU who's come in with a sweep of Santa Clara this past weekend. It's Portland who's trying to regroup after dropping 2 of 3 against St. Mary's this past weekend. Now, coming into this one, though, winner takes all tonight is sole possession of the West Coast Conference. So what are you expecting in this one, Corey?
Well, we got two great baseball teams out on the baseball field tonight. The Pilots, they're number 1 in most categories of offense. They're number 2 in pitching, and LMU on the other side is number 1 in defense. I think the difference tonight's going to be out on the bases. The Pilots run the bases very well. They're very coached, and most of the kids have a really high baseball intelligence.
Well, we just talked about it. Let's take a look at those standings right now around the West Coast Conference. You're going to see Portland and LMU are currently sitting at the top. That's why today and this whole series is so big in this conference. Gonzaga and San Diego sitting at 3 and 4. Those two teams are playing against each other this weekend as well. So we could see a lot of up and down movement from Portland down to San Diego, even St. Mary's after they took 2 of 3 against Portland this past weekend. All right, let's take a look at the mound for the Portland Pilots. It's going to be sophomore right-handed pitcher Joey Gartrell, and he has proven as a young arm he can certainly lead this rotation.
Yeah, he pitched a ton of innings for a freshman last year. You can see 42 innings there. This year he's got off to a good start. He had a really good summer. He lands 3 pitches in the strike zone, and that's what the coach wants him to do, so expect a good start out of him today.
Let's take a look at the starting defense for the Portland Pilots today. Your outfit is going to look like Briley Knight, Jake Holcroft, and Henry Mensch. From left to right, you've got Evan Scavato at third, Spencer Scott getting the start at shortstop, Ben Pataxel at second, Zach Tolia at first base, and then Nick Klemp getting the start behind the plate. When we return, we'll get you the lineup for the LMU Lions and first pitch when we return on Portland CW. Welcome back to Joe Etzel Field. Let's get you the starting lineup for the LMU Lions. Batting first out on right field is going to be Hadim Jow, followed by Sam Biller batting second. Jared Thomas is the catcher. He'll be batting third. Diego Baquero is the third baseman batting cleanup. Connor Blau, the DH, batting fifth. Dylan Dennis is the first baseman batting sixth. Devin Ornelas out in center field. Cole Roberts will be batting eighth, and then Benny Casillas will be batting ninth for the Lions today as Gartrell delivers a first pitch strike to start off Jow, 0-1. And that one actually hits Jow, so Jow's going to reach base right away after being hit by a pitch. Gartrell, 3-1 on the season through 7 games. He's thrown 38 2/3 innings, has a 4.19 ERA, 18 earned runs, 35 strikeouts during that span, just 13 walks. And after Jow got hit, the 7th hit batter on the season for Gartrell. Biller steps into the batter's box. The redshirt sophomore from Los Angeles, California, transfer from Cal Poly. Batting .214 on the season through 26 games. He has 21 hits and 11 RBI as Gartrell throws over to first. The runner's back safely. Jow has not been successful stealing bases this season. He's 0 for 4 as Gartrell just missing low and away from Biller makes it a 1-1 count.
Yeah, taking a look at the LMU stolen base stats, they really don't run much, and really there's only one guy in the lineup that you have to watch out for, and that's Thomas.
Here he puts a drive into one into left field, but Briley Knight gets behind it, camps underneath it, and he makes the catch for the first out today. As Jared Thomas, the catcher, will now come to the plate for the Lions. Thomas is senior from Lakewood, California, transfer from the University of Miami. Draft prospect. Talking to a couple of the guys in the dugout for LMU. First pitch he sees, breaking ball from Gartrell for a strike, 0-1. Thomas is batting .345 through 22 games this season. He's got 29 hits and 18 RBI. Gartrell sent from the stretch. Throws over to first. Tag applied, but the runner's back safely. Slightly open stance for the left-handed bat. Got a ball over the plate, popped up in foul territory in front of Portland's dugout. Scavato giving chase. It'll make the catch in front of the dugout. 2 away.
Well, I'll tell you what, that's a pitcher's best friend right there. A little late to a fastball. Pop fly. Scavato does a great job of finding the fence. Of course, he has the whole team over there saying, you got space, but great job by Scavato making a move. Now, Scavato played outfield last year, so those pop-ups are nothing for him.
Yeah, we've seen him over at third quite a bit this season after rotating in out in right field last year and even a little bit early on in this season.
Well, he's third in the conference right now in RBI, so he's hitting the heck out of it. So coach has got to get him in the lineup, no doubt.
That's something we've kind of seen with how this whole group is really put together. You see players at multiple positions that they can play, and it really helps things out for Coach Loomis and where he can plug guys in and out of the lineup. As a strike there to Diego Baquero.
Yeah, 100%. You know, I've had the pleasure of doing this with you for 3 years and kind of watched Coach Loomis. And as I've taken over the head coach over at Mount Hood Community College, I am really interested in two-way guys and guys that play multiple positions, and I'm seeing why.
Runner going towards second. The throw goes out of the glove of Pataxel. Looks like the throw had beaten the runner, and that'll be the first stolen base for Zhao on the season. Actually, I don't even know if you're going to call that one a stolen base, as the throw beat him there, but then it popped out of the glove of Pataxel.
Yeah, it was a little, you know, it's kind of that long hop, no hop type deal. You know, Pataxel was anchored on the base there and kind of got a weird up hop on it and couldn't handle the ball, but no doubt the throw was quicker than the runner.
Baquero taking a ball, now ahead in the count 2-1.
And just right on cue, I said they don't run bases very much, and they steal one in the first inning. Hey, what do I know, right?
To be fair, they were only 6 for 18 on the season. That's only their 7th stolen base.
Yeah. I mean, they had something. Maybe they had a stopwatch on Gartrell, and they think he's a little slow to the plate, or maybe they didn't think the middle infield moved great, and they just flat took a risk.
That ball fouled off. It actually seemed like it clipped the home plate umpire. So now we'll reset with the 2-2 count on Diego Baquero. 2 outs and a runner on second. Baquero right now has reached safely in 15 straight games and is also on an 11-game hit streak. One of the more consistent bats in this lineup for LMU. The 2-2. Lifted out into left field. Knight near the warning track. He's at the wall, and he's going to watch that one go over. A 2-run home run for Diego Baquero. And the Lions take an early 2-0 lead.
Yeah, off the bat, I thought this was going to be a pop fly out there. I'll tell you right now, generally there's some wind blowing in, and today it's just as soft of a breeze as you can get, and you'll see a ball a little bit elevated over the middle of the plate. Baquero catches it out front, and you know Briley's in a good position to catch that. That barely gets out, but unfortunate for Gartrell. And
now stepping to the plate is Connor Blau, the DH today. Now, we were just talking about Baquero having an on-base streak. It's also Blau who's on a 16-game on-base streak, I should say. 0-1, ground ball, hit over to Tolia at first. He'll field it and step on the bag. And that will end the inning for LMU, but not before a 2-run home run from Diego Baquero puts the Lions ahead 2-0 as we head to the bottom of the first inning. It'll be Holcroft, Klemp, and Pataxel coming to the plate. Welcome back to Joe Etzel Field. Brian Slankenkork here with your call. Diego Barrera is the lefty on the mound for the Lions today, and he has done a terrific job so far this season. In 7 starts, he has a 4-1 record with a 1.76 ERA through 46 innings of work. He's given up 33 hits, only 9 earned runs, 50 strikeouts, and opponents are batting a .198 against him. Now, this is a guy who's top of the conference in ERA, strikeouts, wins. I mean, he really does it all for the Lions.
Yeah, and talking to Coach Loomis like you and I did before the game, what this young man does very well is he lands the changeup. He has a fastball and he has a changeup, and he uses the changeup to set up the fastball. And if you can land the changeup in the fairway between the white lines, it creates a lot of effective velocity for your fastball. So Barrera's really good at it, or Barrera, excuse me, is really good at it.
Yeah, you take a look at that bottom stat line right there. 50 strikeouts to just 5 walks. This man has a lot of control out on the mound. All right, here's the order for the Portland Pilots today. Jake Holcroft leads us off. Nick Klemp behind the plate batting second. Pataxel third. Briley Knight back in the lineup after having last weekend off. Scavato, Sukata, Tolia, and then Spencer Scott batting eighth, and Henry Mensch will be batting ninth out in right field today. Now this actually should be a very fun matchup between these two, as Barrera, one who doesn't give up a lot of hits, and then you've got Holcroft, who's second in the conference right now in total hits at 44.
Yeah, I'll tell you right now, I was checking out Holcroft's stat line, and I'm going to tell you that he's setting himself up to get his name called in the draft. I know early in the year we saw a lot of scouts out watching Klemp and Holcroft, but when you look at this stat line, he's hitting .375. He's got 6 home runs and 45 hits. He's got a slugging percentage of .625, and he's 5 for 5 on stolen bases.
And there he just picked up his 46th hit of the season with a 2-strike single out in the right field. He's just one of the more difficult guys to get out in this lineup, and that's why he's sitting there at the leadoff spot.
Well, and the thing about him is that he's been here a while. He's super polished, and he's really changed himself as a hitter. You'll see here he catches a ball out front and just drives it to a 2-strike pitch. Doesn't get super big with 2 strikes, which he used to do when he was younger. Yeah, he's come along really well as a hitter.
Now Nick Klemp comes to the plate now, the catcher for the Portland Pilots. I don't think you could name a hotter hitter in the country than Nick Klemp after that first weekend, as he was hitting nearly 800 after the series against Utah Tech. Here's the defensive lineup for LMU. Biller, Ornelas, and Zhao is the outfield from left to right. Baquero, Casillas, Roberts, and Dennis is your infield from left to right, and then you've got Jared Thomas behind the plate for LMU. Klemp with the 0-1 after Barrera threw over to first. Inside on Klemp near the feet, called a ball. It'll be 1-1. Now, I don't have the stats in front of me right now, but when the leadoff man gets on for Portland, more times than not, they've been able to score, especially at home. I know you were gone for the last couple of series here at Joe Etzel Field as Klemp takes a ball there. But it seemed like each inning, when the Pilots got their first man on, it almost automatically led to a run in that inning.
I mean, it says it statistically. You get that leadoff guy on, it makes it tough. The key is, getting out the second guy.
Klemp taking strike 2 there. Looked very similar to where that last pitch was. Makes it 2-2.
And the last pitch was a very good changeup that Klemp stayed off of. And then, like I said, the fastball plays up because the changeup's so good. I think he was thinking he was going to get a fastball away, and it just got plate coverage.
Klemp now with a full count, 3-2. Klemp this season's batting .380 through 25 games. He's got 38 hits, 10 doubles, 2 home runs, and 22 RBI. Already has more hits than he had all of last season. The 3-2 fights it off, stays alive as he fouls it off into the netting behind home plate.
2-strike adjust with a guy like this. His out pitch is changeup, so you got to make a little bit of a box adjustment, expecting a changeup because that's his out pitch, and react to the fastball.
Another throw over to first. Holcroft is back safely, and there's a reason why he's keeping an eye on him. He's 5 for 5 so far this season on stolen bases. And with a guy who likes to use his changeup as a punch-out pitch. Could see Holcroft move. Ground ball to the right side and gloved by the first baseman, Dylan Dennis, and he'll step on the bag at first. The diving stop will get one out. Holcroft moves up to second.
Heck of an at-bat by Klemp right there. Did a great job flagging off the 3-2 fastball. Gets a fastball that's expanded off the plate and drives it the other way. And there's a reason why LMU is first in the conference in defense. You just saw it. Their first baseman showed shortstop athletic ability. In the grand scheme of things, though, Klemp got Holcroft out to second, and now the Pilots are in a position to get a run here.
Ben Pataxil, the junior from Renton, Washington, steps to the plate. He takes a first pitch ball. It'll be 1-0. Pataxil, one of those guys from O'Day High School. A few of them on this Portland squad. The 1-0 to Pataxil inside. It's now 2-0. And you're going to have to be careful on those inside pitches. Pataxil leads the conference right now in hit by pitches. He's been a ball magnet so far this season, being hit over 10 times. The 2-0 ground ball over to short, taken in by Casillas and throws Pataxil out in time, 2 away.
Yeah, exactly what lefties are trying to do. He gets a 2-0 changeup, catches it out front, and rolls it over to the shortstop, and no chance for Holcroft to advance. Really, the offensive approach for the right-handers today is they're really going to have to work the middle of the field the other way, and they're going to have to hit that changeup at times.
Briley Knight steps to the plate for the first time today. Takes a first pitch strike, 0-1. He didn't like that call, as the senior from Corvallis, Oregon, the transfer from the University of Utah, now deals with an 0-1 count. Barrero looks back at Holcroft. No call on that one, evens the count at 1-1. Knight so far this season's batting .309 in 24 games. He's got 30 hits and 21 RBI. Now, he was not in the lineup this past weekend against St. Mary's. As he skies this one into shallow right field. Coming in is Hadim Zhao. He'll call off Cole Roberts, and he'll make the catch on the run in shallow right field. And so the Pilots strand a runner over at second. No runs come in to score, and they trail 2-0 as we head to the second inning. Coming to the plate for the Lions, it's Dennis, Ornelas, and Roberts when we return on Portland CW. The Lions lead 2-0 as we start the top of the second inning here at Joe Edsel Field. Brian Slack and Corey Kier with your call. A 2-run home run is the difference right now as Diego Baquero hit it in the top of the first inning to give the Lions that lead. Gartrell, first pitch, breaking ball inside for a ball. It'll be 1-0 to start off Dylan Dennis. Dennis, a senior from Manhattan Beach, California, went to Miracosta High School. Takes a second ball, makes it 2-0. Dennis is batting .239 through 25 games this season with 21 hits, 18 RBI, and 9 runs. There he takes a strike at the bottom of the zone. He nods his head in agreement. It's 2-1. Well, yesterday's game got rained out, as I don't think there was more than a 5-minute span all day yesterday where it didn't rain. And that's why we've got today's game being the opener of this series and a doubleheader tomorrow. First pitch at 11 a.m. The 2-2 from Gartrell. Chopper on the left side. Scavato running in from third. Throws across the diamond. And they got him over at first.
Wow. Wow, that's a heck of a play, let me tell you.
Scavato was playing well behind that bag at third, and as soon as that one was put into the ground, he was sprinting forward for that one.
Yeah, great nose for the baseball there. The thing you're going to see here is this is big high hopper. He had the instincts to come get it, and then a quick get it out and exchange, and beats the throw barely.
Barely. By a whisker, it looked like. Swing and a miss on the first pitch by Devin Ornelas. As Gartrell, after he gave up that home run, ground ball, or back-to-back ground ball, outs for the Pilots. And this is something we saw out of Gartrell last year is, you know, he didn't necessarily start a whole bunch of games, but he came in, had some traffic on the bases at times. It was how is this freshman going to respond? A line drive just over the glove of Spencer Scott into left field. And a one-out single for Ornelas. But as I was saying, Gartrell has shown poise and command on the mound, even though he's been dealt with some difficult situations in his young career here on the Bluff.
Well, first and foremost, last year he pitched 42 innings as a true freshman, which is very difficult to do at any Division I level. You know, most freshmen stand over in the bullpen and watch, and they definitely don't start and pitch that kind of innings. And he's always had a ton of poise on the mound. But now he's had a lot of great mentors, man.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the last couple of years, the pitching here on the Bluff and the arms that they're recruiting is just plus.
Cole Roberts at the plate, starts out with the count 0-1 after that breaking ball from Gartrell, evens it at 1-1.
And like everything else, you know, when you're a freshman, the ball gets up a little bit, and D1 hitters hit balls out of the yard when it's up, and you saw it. I mean, he made a mistake up, and the ball went out of the yard.
The 1-1. Gartrell comes home with it. Roberts puts this one in the air in foul territory. Scavato giving chase, and it'll go past the dugout for the Pilots for a strike. 1-2 on Cole Roberts. Roberts is hitting .203 this season with 14 hits, 10 RBI, and 11 runs scored. Familiar with the last name Roberts, his dad, Dave Roberts, the manager for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Ground ball in through the 5-hole into left field, back-to-back singles for the Lions, and their offense is coming alive.
Yeah, another pitch that was left up. You'll see in the replay that fastball just got up, and he just hooked it through the 5.5 hole.
Benny Casillas, the shortstop, now comes to the plate for the Lions. You know, talking with LMU before this game, you look at some of the stats right now, conference-wise, between these teams. You know, Portland leads the conference in hits, over 290 of them. LMU is 7th in the two teens right now. Squaring to bunt is Casillas, pulling it back in time. It'll be 1-0. But that doesn't necessarily tell the whole story because the non-conference for LMU has been very difficult. They're playing teams like UCLA, USC, and those other Southern California teams. They even played Oklahoma State and Vanderbilt to start this year. And you face these top caliber teams, and so your numbers aren't exactly where you'd like them to be. But as they've gotten into conference play, the water has leveled out. Their batting average has gone up. Their hits have gone up, and they're really starting to play their best baseball.
Yeah, no doubt the record shows it. And like I said, if you defend, I mean, really, you got to pitch and defend to win baseball games. And, you know, offense determines by how much. But, you know, they defend the heck out of it. And so that's why they are where they are. Now, listen, are you discounting the University of Oregon Ducks and the UW?
I'm not discounting them. Those are obviously top-tier programs here.
Just to defend the preseason stuff that the Pilots are doing, it's you know, there's no lay-down baseball on the West Coast anymore.
No.
Every night you got a ball game. It doesn't matter who you're playing, whether it's, you know, the Pilots or the Cougs or the Ducks. I mean, they're all tough.
I mean, we even saw it. It's not the same caliber as the Ducks, but even Utah Valley, that's a program that's on the rise. And they took 2 against Portland here at Joe Edsel Field.
Almost took 3.
Almost took 3, yeah.
And then you're talking about a well-coached program. Eddie Smith, he's put a great roster together and making big strides over there at Utah Valley.
All right, full count now on Benny Casillas with runners on first and second. It's Ornelas at second, Roberts at first after back-to-back one-out singles. Casillas, can he load the bases up or drive in a run? Both runners are going. Ground ball goes foul down the third baseline and off the fence of the bullpen for Portland. So back to the 3-2.
coach for LMU, putting a little pressure on the Pilots with the 3-2-1 out. Going to put the runners on the move. You know, looks great if guys go to cover bases and the ball sneaks through, but looks really bad if a line drive goes to an infielder. You're questioning yourself whether you do that or not.
Here's the full count again. Fouled off into the backstop. Looked like it was going to be a breaking ball. So now Gartrell in some hot water again. See if he can get out of it. Casillas this year is batting .220 with 20 hits and 5 RBI on the season. Ground ball down the third baseline and behind the third base coach, Eric Hutting. And we'll reset with runners on first and second and 3-2. Really a tough out right now by Casillas. Ground ball over to Scavato, applies the tag to the runner going to third and throws across the diamond in time for the double play. Scavato making plays on the defensive end, responsible for all 3 outs in this inning. As we head to the bottom of the second, that man's leading us off. It's Scavato, Sukata, and Tolia when we return on Portland CW. Well, the man playing the hot corner leads us off here in the bottom of the second inning as the Pilots trail 2-0 to LMU. It's Brian Slyke and Corey Keir with your call as Evan Scavato steps to the plate for the first time today. Scavato, the junior, batting .271 on the season, and he's had a hot bat as of late. Through 26 games, he's got 23 hits, 28 RBI, 8 doubles, 3 home runs during that span. First pitch breaking ball away and off the plate. It'll be 1-0 to start off Scavato.
Yeah, called his name a lot tonight already. He's made a couple plays out here.
And this is an infield that has, I don't want to say changed really, because it's a lot of the same guys that we saw from last year. Just Scavato moved from right field over to third base now, as they've moved Pataxel around the infield. He's played third this year. I believe he's played short briefly, and then he's also played second base as well, which is where he's starting today.
Yeah, tons of options out there. Scavato can go out and play right field. You got Sukata, who can play second base. We've seen him at third.
Yep.
We've seen him at short. Don't forget, you got Ty Saunders, who 3 years ago started at shortstop.
Yep. You also have Spencer Scott, who's starting at short, can play third or second.
Yeah, I mean, the Pilots has just done a really good job of developing athletes.
And right back up the middle, Scavato has a leadoff single just underneath the glove of Barrera. As Jake Sukata now will come to the plate, the designated hitter tonight. It looked like Barrera just left that one elevated.
Yeah, the Pilots have had the right-handed hitters against the Pilots had a really great approach against Barrera already. They're working the middle of the field to the right center gap. Understanding, I mean, here's the whole situation with right-hand hitting. You got to be on time to the velocity in fastball. And if you're late to velocity away, you still have the ability to make adjustment with your hands, and the same thing with the changeup. So you really got to think to hit the ball the other way and try to be on time to the velocity in fastball. Force him to throw it into you. But so far the right-handers have done a really good job. Not really, with one exception, we had one 2-0 pitch that got hooked to the shortstop, but for the most part, they've worked the middle, the right side.
Sukata, ground ball over to short, taken in by Casillas. The flip over to second in time to Roberts, and they're going to say Sukata safe over at first. That'll go down as a fielder's choice, as Sukata will be safe. Scavato out at second, and that'll bring up Zach Tolia. Pretty close play. See the replay right here. Sukata safe. Again, that's one of those plays that was close, similar to what we saw in the last half inning on Scavato's first play on that chopper from third, as Nathan Choate just went out there to go talk to his pitcher.
Yeah, we don't have the umpires' names up here. We generally do, but I'll tell you what, the first baseman's got 3 bang plays, and it's been 1.5 innings.
Sukata leaning back towards first. He's back safely with the throw over to the bag.
I'm assuming they're 100% right because he's 3 feet from the bag. But from here, I think he's 0 for 3. I mean, I'm not sure what he is, but yeah, from here, it looks different, you know.
Tolia takes a strike. It's 0-1. Tolia, transfer from the University of Utah, batting .354 this season. 23 hits, 10 RBI. As he takes ball 1 for this count, evens it up at 1-1.
Yeah, I think umpiring's a tough job, and I think it's really tough when you're a base umpire. I think the plate umpire is actively involved in the game all the time, and you know, you're not sleeping at any time. But man, you could get out there. You know, the first base umpires had 3 big calls already, but the guy over at third, he's over there just watching, and before you know it, he's going to get one hooked at him, and he's going to have to make a big call. And if you're sleeping, it's really hard. So I think the bases are tougher than the plate.
Sukata with a decent lead over at first. Barrera comes home with it, high above the letters and away from Tolia. That'll even the count at 2-2.
Brian, I'm noticing, are these the new uniforms that I saw on Twitter? I saw some All Blacks, too.
Yeah, the All Blacks are for tomorrow, and I'm very excited to see those. That'll be the first time we see those uniforms. Portland is wearing their sleeveless purple uniforms with purple sleeves underneath, and then their pinstripe pants with the purple socks. But their uniforms for tomorrow, ones we have not seen, are all black with white pinstripes and Portland in purple across the chest. Tolia hooks this one, and it's going to go just foul down the third baseline, and we'll reset to the 2-2.
There's that ball I was talking about. He's wide awake. Made it correct.
He was ready for it.
Hey, one thing I want to say is, Coach Loomis is looking pretty good out there in the third base box. You know, I'm proud of the weight that I've lost, and he looks really slim out there. Now, I don't know if it's because he's not wearing the puffy coat tonight, because those puffy coats make you put about 80 pounds on you.
Well, it's a warmer night than what we've had here on the Bluff in the past. 54 degrees and a bit cloudy. I believe one of the last games that you were here, we were sitting in 40-degree weather. Tolia jammed inside on a pitch. That'll be a full count now, 3-2. There you see the overcast skies right now. In fact, actually, before you showed up, Corey, we were supposed to have the rain stop at around 4, and for about 5 to 10 minutes, it just downpoured here. Lifted into shallow left field. Casillas running back. Now everybody's called off by the center fielder, Ornelas, and he'll make the catch in left center field to retire Tolia. So with 2 away, that'll bring up Spencer Scott, the Portland, Oregon product from Grant High School. And starting at shortstop today. Scott so far this season in 21 games is hitting .241 with 13 hits and 13 RBI. Sukata taking his lead off at first. Barrera throws this one in the left-handed batter's box. Looked like it was a pitch out.
100%. Thought Sukata might go early. Little pitch out. Little cat and mouse game there with the Pilots.
This ball hit into right field, going towards the line, and the catch will be made by Hadim Zhao. And that will strand the Pilots' leadoff man again. No runs come in to score after 1 hit and 1 left on. We head to the third inning. It's a 2-0 lead for the Lions when we return on Portland CW. We welcome you back to Joe Etzel Field. A 2-0 lead in the top of the third for the LMU Lions. Winner of tonight's game takes sole possession of first place in the West Coast Conference. Both teams sitting atop at 7-2 in conference play. As Hadeen Zhao leads things off to start off the third. No official at-bat as he was hit by a pitch to start off this game. Fouls off the next pitch into the netting behind home plate, 0-2. Zhao also had a stolen base, his first of the season. It's now 1-for-6. Softly hit ball into center field. And Holcroft comes in from center field. And that'll be a single for Zhao to start off this third inning. So Gartrell giving up 4 hits so far through 2 innings of work. He's been averaging a little under a hit per inning so far. As Sam Biller steps to the plate, he flew out to Briley Knight his last time up. Squares to bunt, pulls it back just in time. It'll be 1-0. No movement from the infield. Biller bunts it down the first baseline. It's going to be fielded by Tolia. He'll apply the tag. Sack bunt works as Zhao moves up to second base. He's now in scoring position, and that'll bring up Jared Thomas, the catcher.
It's great defense by Tolia there. You know, he got ranged away from the bag, and I think if he would have had to turn and throw it, it would have been very difficult. He saw where the runner was and just came over and made that tag. Could have been problematic if he tried to throw it to the base.
Runner at second is Zhao. Thomas waits on that one. Starts out 1-0 in this count.
I will tell you so far, the LMU Lions are doing a great job playing the game of baseball. They're attacking the fastball early. They're catching pitches up. They're moving runners over. They're doing a lot of really good things, and you can see why they're 7-2 and have a chance to be atop the conference at the end of the series. So
this one goes off the end of the bat and slowly rolls in front of the LMU bench. It'll be 1-1.
The dugout's really loaded with a bunch of guys that look like baseball players. I think that's you know, that's always the eye test, is a bunch of guys that play baseball. You can see a good-looking crew over there, just like the Pilots.
The 1-1. Low and away. That will put Thomas ahead, 2-1 on the count. Thomas in his time at the University of Miami played in 30 games over 2 seasons for the Hurricanes. Hit a .198 with only 7 RBI, but last year hit .306 for the Lions in his first season with 22 RBI and 44 hits. Here's the 2-1. Big swing and a miss on the off speed from Gartrell. Evens the count at 2-2. Thomas already closing in on his RBI total from last year. He's got 18 on the season right now. 22 is what he had last season through 36 games. 2-2. Off the end of the bat, towards the 5-hole, played by Scavato. Looks back, the runner at second. The high throw taken in by Tolia at first. And so 2 away now. Scavato very busy over at third base tonight. Diego Baquero comes to the plate, already 1 for 1 today with a 2-run home run, and that is the difference so far as the Lions have that 2-0 lead. And Baquero has now extended his hit streak to 12 and his on-base streak up to 16 after the 2-run home run. There he takes a strike, a fastball from Gartrell, knee-high away, 0-1. And this one gets out of the glove of Clem, slowly rolls to the backstop. Zhao moves up to third on the pass ball.
So runner 90 feet away from scoring now.
Yeah, in the grand scheme of things, you know, when that happens, usually you try to reset the arm. Really not a big deal. He was in scoring position anyway. There isn't a lot of pass balls. I mean, there's one there, but you know, you got to focus on getting the hitter here and don't worry about that guy that advanced.
Yeah, the other thing you have to look at, there are 2 outs right now. Can't focus too much, like you're saying, on the runner over at third, when all you really need to focus on is a guy at the plate right now. As you see, Baquero batting .314 on the year with 32 hits, and I think this will be a flyout, and it is over to Henry Mensch in right center field, and that will strand the runner over at third. No runs come in to score. As we head to the bottom of the 3rd inning, Henry Mensch will lead us off. Then it's top of the lineup for the Pilots and Holcroft and Klemp on Portland CW. We welcome you back to Joe Edzo Field. Brian Slight, Corey here with your call as the LMU Lions hold on to a 2-0 lead over the Portland Pilots. Bottom of the lineup to lead things off for Portland, it's Henry Mensch, who will come to the plate for the first time today. Just made that catch on the run in right center field to end the last half inning for the Lions. Barrera's done a good job so far. Only 2 hits given up through the first 2 innings. He induces a swing and miss right there from Henry Mensch. It'll be 0-1. Strike 2 on Mensch, makes it 0-2. Junior from Seattle, Washington, this season is batting .329 through 23 games with 23 hits. There's a ball. It'll be 1-2.
Another product out of O'Dea High School.
Yep. The 1-2. Mensch goes down on strikes. That's the first one today for either side. And that'll bring up Jake Holcroft.
Tell you what, man, that's a tough sequence. First pitch is just paint away. Second pitch is paint in. Third pitch is change up over the white line and then just goes by him with the next one. That effective velocity piece, that change up that he threw right there, Henry times up the change up and he just can't get to that velocity fastball up.
Holcroft, the redshirt junior from Upland, California, steps back into the batter's box. Hitting .375 with 46 hits this season, 21 RBIs. He fouls this one to our left and out of play, quickly behind 0-2. Holcroft puts it in the air into left. Going towards the line is Biller coming in, and he will make the catch over his shoulder, 2 away. So 2 quick outs for Portland to start off the bottom of the 3rd, and that'll bring up Nick Klemp, who grounded out to first his last time up on a terrific diving effort from Dylan Dennis. Barrera, first pitch to Klemp, fouled off into the netting behind home plate. It'll be 0-1. Klemp pops this one up in that triangle area right now. Roberts going to call off the first baseman, Dennis, and make the catch in shallow right field. And it'll be a 1-2-3 inning for the Pilots. As we head to the 4th inning, coming to the plate for the Lions, it's Blau, Dennis, and Ornelas when we return on Portland CW. Gartrell out for another inning of work. As we're back at Joe Etzel Field, Brian Slyke and Corey Keir with your call. Pilots trailing 2-0. It's just a 2-run home run back in the top of the first inning that separates these two teams right now as Connor Blau comes to the plate. Blau wearing number 5 for LMU, the sophomore from Carlsbad, California. Last season, he only played in 20 games with 12 hits. And he sends this one foul to our right out of play. He'll start out 0-1. You know, doing my research on this club coming into this week, LMU, and what Nathan Choate's been able to do with this Lions club, he's getting some of the more top-tier talent in the state of California. We know how many players come out of that state and how well thought of that they are, but he's getting players that are ranked, you know, top 50 in this category, top 50 in that category, and with how much baseball is played in California, that's going to translate to some W's probably for you in your dugout.
Yeah, well, the West Coast Conference is a pretty good conference to play in. The weather's great. And if you're an academic guy, there's no better place in the world to play than in that conference. And yeah, it's up and down the West Coast. Baseball's pretty darn good right now. And I can remember 10 years ago, both these teams being cellar dwellers, you know, and now they've completely turned it around, and now every single night, it doesn't matter what team rolls in, you better be ready to play.
Yeah, we've talked about that earlier in the season, even against teams like Utah Valley, a team that in the past Portland would take 3 of 4 as there's a strikeout for Gartrell, his first on the evening. But there's no slouches anymore in this conference right now, or even just frankly with Division I baseball. There's just so much good talent out there, you can't take any team lightly.
Yeah, I mean, I can remember when, you know, Pepperdine was at the top and San Diego, and, you know, now Gonzaga's come on deep, and look what the Pilots did last year, 30-plus wins, and, you know, at the top of the conference again. So, again, any given year can be a little bit different, that's for sure.
Dylan Dennis steps to the plate. He's 0 for 1 today with a ground out to Evan Scavato. That started off the second inning. Here's the 0-1 from Gartrell. Ends up in the left-handed batter's box, almost in the dirt, 1-1. Dennis hitting .239 on the season. Here's the 1-1. Big swing and a miss. And a ball near the bottom of the zone. It'll be 1-2 now.
And there's a piece of it that we haven't talked about this year yet, but we talked about it last year, but constriction, the lighter draft, you're seeing a lot more older baseball players up and down the lineup of a lot of different teams. You know, in the past, you become a junior, and if you're good enough to be a minor league baseball player, you get drafted, you move on. Now those players are playing their senior year, and some of them are playing their senior year. Here's another look at the strikeout. Really good slider down in the zone, and got a second strikeout of the game.
Devin Ornella steps to the plate. He's 1 for 1 with a single. Puts this one in the air into left center field. Holcroft is ranging over to his right, and Briley Knight will call him off and make the catch. A 1-2-3 inning for the Lions at the plate. As we head to the bottom of the fourth, it's the middle of the lineup. Pataxel, Knight, and Scavato all due up when we return on Portland CW. Diego Barrera has kept the Pilots in check. Only 2 hits through the first 3 innings. And after he's allowed the leadoff man aboard in the first 2 innings, he did not let them get any farther than that. He's done terrific stuff on the mound today. Only 1 strikeout, which is a bit uncharacteristic for him. But you can also credit the Pilots and their approach at the plate as Pataxo fouls off the first pitch fastball 0-1.
Yeah, pretty good looking left-handed arm. Locates 2 pitches with really a command rating. I mean, you don't get a lot of command ratings with guys, but he has a command rating. There's a look at the slider.
Yep.
It's the first one I've seen. Now he might have thrown it, but the first one that I've noticed. But you know, just trying to show something a little bit different.
Barrera with his fastball as Pataxo gets plunked. So Pataxo will head over to first after being hit by the pitch, which has happened quite a bit for him so far this season. That's now 14 times he's been hit by a pitch.
Yeah, he doesn't crowd the plate either. You had mentioned that he was a ball magnet earlier, and I thought, well, he's not. It's not like he's got his toes on the white line or he's rolling into the pitches. It's you know, guys try to get in on him, and he gets hit.
Briley Knight takes a strike there. It'll be 0-1 to start him off. And the Pilots are happy to have him back in the lineup. Sort of a freak incident while they were at St. Mary's as they were getting ready to go for Game 1 during BP. Knight got hit in the face by one of the baseballs, had to go into concussion protocol. Now, he did not have a concussion, but having the safety precautions, he was not allowed to play. And so he did not play at St. Mary's at all. And he's normally your cleanup hitter, and that's a big bat to be missing in your lineup. The 0-2 fouls it off just enough to get it out of the glove of Thomas. We'll go back to the 0-2.
Yeah, he brings a lot to the Pilots. You know, he defends the heck out of it. He can play all 3 positions in the outfield. You know, he's really a fire plug. Brings a lot of energy, and he has a big-time raw power tool. You know, he's not a big human in stature, but man, he can hit it a long ways.
Fouls it off to our left into the netting. It'll be 0-2. But I think you could say that about a couple of guys in this lineup. I mean, Holcroft isn't a guy who's big in stature, but right now he's currently leading your team with 6 home runs. The 0-2. Knight might put this one into the gap. It's falling in the center fielder running over, and he's going to make the catch. It's Ornelas. And Pataxo will have to go back to first. And the wheel is out in center field, prevents a hit, 1 away, and that'll bring up Evan Scavato. Ornelas had to run a long way to make that catch out in center field. As Scavato comes to the plate, he's 1 for 1 today. Had a single in the second. Ground ball back up the middle underneath the glove of Barrera. Smokes this ball into center field, and Ornelas has a beat on it. He'll make the catch near the warning track. And a loud out right there for Scavato, 2 away.
Boy, that was a good-looking swing. Ambushed that first pitch, hit it really, really hard, but just not enough juice to get over the center fielder's head.
Well, the Pilots have gotten the leadoff man on 3 of 4 times so far this inning, or this game, I should say. So far, they haven't been able to produce anything. Now they've got 2 outs as Jake Sukata steps to the plate for the 2nd time today. He reached on a fielder's choice. He's 0 for 1. Takes a strike to start off this at-bat, 0-1.
The game's really easy if you really defend and you don't give free passes, and that's what they're doing tonight. You know, yeah, they get a single. You guys, he's on first base. They continue to attack the strike zone. They get 2 big outs in the air, and now they're...
Pataxo's going for second, and he's got the stolen base. Looked like the shortstop, Casillas, was a bit late getting over to the bag at second.
Well, I'll tell you what, Sukata got across the plate there. Now, you'll see here, he got across the plate a little bit.
Oh, yes, he did.
And I'll tell you right now, if Coach sneaks out there, he probably will get a call, but...
it doesn't seem like he's too worried about it right now with the 0-2 on Sukata. Puts this one into the air into shallow right center field. Ornelas is going to make the catch, and that will retire the Pilots. Leadoff man gets on, but they strand him on base. We head to the 5th. It's a 2-0 lead for LMU. Cole Roberts, Benny Casillas, and Hadim Zhao all come to the plate next for the Lions. Cole Roberts leads us off here in the top of the 5th inning. A 2-0 lead for LMU over the Portland Pilots. Joey Gartrell back out on the mound. First pitch, breaking ball, first strike to start out Roberts 0-1. Roberts singled on the left side through the 5-hole his last time up and then got left stranded on the bases. The 0-1. And this one will drop into left field. Knight will cut it off before it gets to the corner. Comes up throwing towards second on a rope, and that'll keep Roberts over at first with a leadoff single. I don't know if there's a statistic for it or not, but it seems like Briley Knight, the way he attacks the ball in the outfield and how quickly he gets it in, I feel like he cuts off a lot of runners from advancing that extra 90 feet when normally you think it could be a double for somebody.
100%. I mean, we teach our base runners, and the Pilots teach the base runners. Any ball to the outfield is a double till it's not a double. And if a guy is lazy to get to the baseball, they'll hustle double on you. Well, you're not going to ever hustle double Briley Knight because he's always there quick, and then he showed off a big arm there.
Yeah. Again, a big boost in the lineup for Portland after he was not in the lineup at all against St. Mary's last weekend. Gartrell comes home with the 0-1 after the failed bunt attempt by Benny Casillas. It's now 0-2.
Yeah, it's nice to be back in the park with a little bit warmer weather. We started and the heat was on, and Brian and I were hot, so we opened up the window here, and then now it's so cold we closed the window and turned the heat on. So the soft guys up here in the box. But one thing I'm liking about tonight is we're seeing some of the Pilot athletes out supporting. You know, right in front of us, it looks like we have a few volleyball players and also
some basketball players. Yeah,
basketball players, which you get the opportunity to call their games as well. So that's kind of cool.
Always important to see the other programs support each other. This ball hit into left field. Knight taking his time with a few steps back, makes the catch near the warning track, one away, and that'll bring us to the top of the lineup. Into Hadim Zhao, who is 1 for 1 today with a single. He was also hit by a pitch.
Yeah, and these ladies are bringing tons of energy tonight. I can hear them.
Oh yeah, they're screaming and hollering at LMU.
Yeah.
Zhao last season as the runner goes towards second, hit over to Scott. With 1 out, his only throw is over to first with the runner moving. And Zhao will be retired. Moving up to second is Cole Roberts now in scoring position, and that'll bring up Sam Biller.
Little running hit there, and Spencer doing a great job of knowing that we're not going to try to go to 2 on a guy moving. Too risky. Let's just take the backside out and get to 2 outs.
And get the for sure out as Sam Biller steps to the plate. He's 0 for 1, a fly out to Briley Knight in the left. And then he sacrificed bunted his last time up in the 3rd. Off speed from Gartrell, in there for a strike, 0-1. Talking about some of those, you can hear the fans out there right now. Biller pops this one up. Scavato over into foul territory. Scott giving chase as well. Scavato will make the catch over his left shoulder on the warning track. And they strand one on after the leadoff single by Cole Roberts, but no runs coming to score. It remains 2-0 as we head to the bottom of the 5th. It's the bottom of the order. Talia, Scott, and Mensch for the Pilots. It's the bottom of the 5th inning here at Joe Etzel Field, and the Pilots are trailing 2-0 to the LMU Lions. It's Brian Slyke and Corey Kier with your call. As Zach Tolia comes to the plate, he's 0 for 1 today with a fly out to center field to Devin Ornelas.
And Tolia barely missed that baseball. He barreled that. That was a big league pop-up.
So now he has a chance to redeem himself. Off speed from Barrera starts him out 0-1 after the swing and miss. Not a lot of movement from LMU like we've seen with other teams that come into Joe Etzel Field with the lefty bats, with Knight, even with Holcroft, but there hasn't been a lot of movement from that defense today. The 1-1. Tolia takes a strike. It's a 1-2. And Tolia will go down with a strikeout. Only the second strikeout for Barrera today. And again, he had a 10-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio. 50 strikeouts, only 5 walks.
Yeah, similar pattern to Mensch there. You know, started him with fastball. Actually, opposite. Started with changeup, then went pain away, and then came in hard with the fastball in, and then beat him up.
Spencer Scott takes a breaking ball away for a ball. It'll be 1-0. Scott is 0 for 1 with a fly out into right field, and his only at-bat of the day so far.
Now, if Barrera follows his pattern, you're going to get a fastball in here, right here.
Here's the 2-0. Just like he called it, Corey, and there's a strike. 2-1 after the fastball.
Well, and it's not going to take long for someone in the Pilots dugout to see what happens. They're either going to start you soft or hard. They're going to go 2 away, and then we're going to come in and force action.
Looks like another inside pitch on Scott. Fouls it off behind us. 2-2 now.
And, you know, breaking it down to the players or to anybody, a pitching staff or a young baseball player, you know, the key to winning this ball game is I threw some stats out last week to get some of the fastball in. Went 3 consecutive pitches there. Broke it down to some young guys that, you know, 1,000% of hitters that don't make it to first base don't score runs.
Yep.
So it's a simple stat. Attack the hitter and force them to beat you. Now, and the other stat that I give a young guy is that 1,000% of 4-ball counts end up with someone on first base, and the only way you can score is get to first base. So force the hitter to beat you.
Mensch takes a strike and quickly falls behind 0-1. He struck out and his only at bat so far back in the 3rd. Check swing, he went around, falls behind 0-2. I mean, Barrera's done a good job of mixing up his pitches. It doesn't seem like Portland's had a couple of balls that they've connected well, but they've been right at some people. As this one ends up in the dirt, it's blocked by Thomas. It'll be 1-2.
Change up there, and the 2 options that I think he'll go to is fastball in or fastball up here.
There it is, elevated above the letters though for a ball, makes it 2-2.
Now he's going to try to force action here because there's 2 outs, and with the bottom of the order, doesn't want to face one. He'll probably get a gutted fastball.
Fouls it off, across the way to our right, and we'll go back to the 2-2 count.
The key is to get the hitter into swing, and then maybe he can use the changeup. So he got a swing, a foul off swing, might shake, repeat. Nope, changeup.
Changeup and fouled off into the glove, and 3 strikeouts for Barrera. He's got 4 now on the day, and a 1-2-3 inning for the Pilots. We head to the 6th. It's going to be Thomas, Vaquero, and Blau when we return on Portland CW. Well, we've got ourselves an old-fashioned pitching duel here at Joe Edsel Field as it's a 2-0 lead right now for LMU. And those 2 runs came off of one swing from Diego Baquero. It was a 2-run home run back in the first inning, and that is the difference as Gartrell back out on the mound for another inning of work. Pitch number 70 in there for a strike. It's 0-1. Thomas is 0 for 2 today. He popped out to Scavato over at third, and then his last time up, he grounded out to Scavato as well. Here he takes a ball away, feet level, 1-1. Two and one on Thomas. The 2-1. Stayed high. Didn't break until late. It'll be 3-1 now on Thomas. He's looking to reach base for the first time tonight. Fouled off of Klemp, and I think that one went off his hand as he's shaking it right now. You'll have the home plate umpire. It's kind of that courtesy play right there by the home plate umpire and the catcher. It's kind of vice versa. If one of them gets hit by a foul ball, the other one takes their time in getting the new ball to the pitcher.
Back there in the war behind the dish.
So we work with a full count, 3-2. Ground ball over to short. It's going to be fielded by Scott. Throws across his body high, and the tall frame of Tolia brings it in for the out.
Wow, that's a pretty good play by Scott. At first, I thought Scavato was going to cut it off, and you see Scott come attack to backhand on it.
You'll see it right here on the replay.
Big high hop. Actually, he circled it.
Yeah, I was going to say he circled that one.
And did a great job of getting it out quick.
As Diego Baquero steps to the plate, he's 1 for 2 today with a 2-run home run back in the first inning. Breaking ball falls in for a strike, starts him out 0-1. His last at-bat in the third, though, he flew out to Henry Mensch to end the third inning. Baquero named a 2023 preseason All-WCC selection. He was All-WCC first team last year, and he's actually a Player of the Year candidate. That tells you how good LMU was last season in conference, as there he puts one down the line and into left field down the third baseline. This one will be a 2-bagger for Baquero as Knight fishes it from the corner, and a 1-out double puts Baquero in scoring position for the Lions. So Baquero, 2 hits now today, both of them for extra bases. And this just hugged the line the entire way, Corey. Not much that Scavato could do as he was playing off the line. See how Gartrell responds. Induces a swing and miss right there by Connor Blau. Blau has reached base in 16 straight games, but he's 0 for 2 today. Ground out to first, and then he struck out his last time up. The 0-1. This one's going to go on to the right field berm for a strike, 0-2. The 0-2 runner on second. Scott retreats back to his position. Gartrell just missing off the plate away from the left-handed bat. It makes it 1-2. Pataxel back to his position. Scott behind the runner at second. Wind starting to blow in. The 1-2. Missing low. Clem couldn't bring it back into the zone. 2-2 now. honestly, with the weather we've been having, I'm just happy to see some blue skies, you know, some pockets here and there through the clouds, as Gartrell just missing off the plate. And after starting out 0-2 on Blau, it's now a full count, 3-2.
Yeah, LMU has incredible plate discipline. They see lots of pitches. They hit fastballs and stay off of breaking balls with less than 2 strikes. And then when they get to 2 strikes, they do a really good job of getting the ball in play, with the exception of here.
As Gartrell gets another strikeout, just his 3rd on the day.
Really tough pitch for that young man. Velocity up into the hands, and looks so good out of the hand, and really difficult to get your barrel to it. You can see it's just an elevated fastball.
As Dylan Dennis, the senior from Manhattan Beach, California, steps to the plate. Now, he's a guy who can get hot for this lineup. Last year, he was All-WCC 2nd team selection. He lays off the high fastball from Gartrell to get ahead 1-0. Last season, though, he hit .325 with 66 hits and 32 RBI. Those were all career highs. A 13-game hit streak to end last year. The 1-0. Missing low and away. It'll make it 2-0. Starting to hear some of the fans right now. Out behind home plate. Here's the 2-0. Gartrell looks back at Baquero at second, comes home with it. And this one is going to go just foul by about a foot as it hooked over the line around the glove of Scavato at third. And that'll be the first strike for Dennis, 2-1. There's that third base umpire again, Corey, having to make a play.
Hat tip to him, paying attention.
No arm up in the bullpen right now for Portland. Haven't seen any arms up for LMU either, as Barrera has been throwing a gem so far, and Dennis gets plunked. Second hit batter by Gartrell today. And that will bring up Devin Ornelas. And now they're going to go check up on Dylan Dennis.
Center fielder, number 15, Devin Ornelas.
Obviously, you never want to put an extra guy on base, because we talked about that. You can't score a run unless you're on base. But Dennis is in the 6th hole, and now Ornelas is in the 7. You got to force at every base. So, you really got to reset this and say, hey, we got 2 outs. It's okay. Just attack the hitter, and let's get the hitter and get out of this inning.
Popped it up. This one should stay in fair territory. Now going into foul territory, Spencer Scott, and he makes the catch on the foul line, and that will strand both runners on base. No runs coming to score. It remains a 2-0 lead for the Lions. We head to the bottom of the 6th. It's the top of the order for the Pilots. Holcroft, Nick Klemp, and Ben Pataxel all due up when we return on Portland CW. Pilots are running out of outs here as we head to the bottom of the 6th, trailing 2-0, but Jake Holcroft will lead things off for the Pilots as he's reached base once already. He's 1 for 2 today. Single back in the 1st, and then he flew out to left field back in the 3rd. But if you're Portland, this is the guy you want up at the plate right now, trying to get something going offensively, whether he gets on via the walk or a hit. hopefully you can get something going, get him on second. Here's a check swing, and it'll go foul, stays foul. It'll be 0-1. Breaking ball that went inside. It's put high into the air by Holcroft. Ornelas ranges over to his left, and he makes the catch in left center field. One out here in the bottom of the sixth. It seems like maybe Holcroft wanted a fastball right there and just got underneath it on the breaking ball as Nick Klemp now comes to the plate.
It's only the second breaking ball that I've seen now. I might have missed a few, but the breaking ball is the one pitch that is probably not, it's probably his third best pitch for sure. Here's a drive.
Klemp puts it out in the left center field. Going back is the left fielder, and it's off the base of the wall. Klemp will have a stand-up double. And this could breathe some life into the lineup right now for the Pilots. Just their third hit in this ball game, and only the second base runner to move up to second base in today's game.
Wasn't late to the fastball in that time. Yeah. Hit it 369 feet right at the base,
right at the base of the wall, yep. As Ben Pataxel comes to the plate, he's 0 for 1. A ground out to short back in the first inning, and then he was hit by a pitch back in the fourth. So he got hit for the 14th time this season. Squares to bunt, pulls it back. Called a ball to be 1-0.
Yeah, the way Scavato's playing today, if they get to Scavato this inning, something special can happen because he's playing with a lot of confidence.
The 1-0. Half-hearted swing right there by Pataxel. Wanted to go after it, second-guessed himself. It'll be 1-1.
Well, and there's a little pattern that has happened. It's fastball, it's changeup, and I think he was sitting changeup and realized it was fastball, and
Thomas able to block that one, keep it in front, and Klemp stays put at second. It'll be 2-1. Big hole on the right side of the infield right now, with Roberts keeping an eye on Klemp at second. The 2-1, inside and low on Pataxel, goes for a ball, 3-1.
well, this will tell you what they're trying to do to him. With the way the defense is, they're trying to jam him and have him pull a ball. And get anything away, you try to go to the hole the other way.
Strike two called on Pataxel to make it a full count now, 3-2. Runner at second, only one out. Full count. And that breaking ball stayed high, but Pataxel puts it foul into the road to our right. We'll go back to the full count, 3-2. I wouldn't be surprised if you see a changeup right now. That's been his go-to punch-out pitch.
Soft away, fastball in. The two options, I think, could be fastball up, too.
Pataxel down the right field line. This is going to go foul, though, into the bullpen for LMU. Had that been straight, that could go off the wall in right field, but instead goes for a loud, long strike. We'll go back to the 3-2.
Yeah, great job by Pataxel there. He tried to go in, and the ball got back over the plate. He kept his hands inside it. And his thinking to drive it the other way. The only way you get beat is in here. Got him. Got him again.
Well, that's ball 4.
Or it got him.
Or it got him. Or it got him.
I think it got him. You don't generally try to get hit 3-2.
I'm looking over at my people to the right, and they're saying he just missed him. Otherwise, I would have been hit by pitch number 15 on the season. Here, we might get a better look at it right here. Awfully close.
It did miss him, though.
So now with runners on first and second, only one out, Nathan Choate, the manager for LMU, goes out onto the mound to talk things over. Now, I haven't seen anybody run out to the bullpen. That doesn't mean there's nobody out there right now for LMU. But you have to have some confidence in Diego right now with how he's been able to pitch and keep Portland off balance in the batter's box. With one out, you could get a double play. We've already seen it once from them.
Little strategy talk here. I don't know his pitch count, but probably getting up in the high 70s to 80s.
He's 81 right now.
Yeah. Has a 2-0 lead and just wants to slow it down a little bit, get a deep breath, and make a decision on how they're going to attack Riley.
And so Coach Choate will go back to the dugout, put his earpiece back in. He's the one who calls pitches for LMU. Briley Knight steps to the plate. Knight is 0 for 2 with 2 flyouts, 1 to right field, 1 to center. First pitch he sees, squares to bunt, pulls it back, but a fastball inside for a strike, makes it 0-1. Now normally you don't see your 4-hole hitter trying to bunt the ball, but with 1 out.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think he's going to bunt. I think he's just trying to get the corners tight, and he's going to try to hook one by him.
Puts this one in the bullpen for Portland, so falls behind 0-2.
Yeah, I feel like Briley's intent is to take that first pitch no matter what. So show bunt, try to get the corners a little tighter, so that way if he hooks one, he can hook it by him or hit it the other way by him. But don't allow those defenders to be super deep and diving bodies and keeping balls in the infield.
Here's the 0-2. Barrera looks back at Klemp. Puts this ball in the right-handed batter's box, makes it 1-2. Knight with runners in scoring positions, batting .366 this season. He's batting .303 overall in the year. Here's the 1-2. Missing high there. Evens the count at 2-2. Lights turning on right now on campus. Here's the 2-2. Knight, softly hit ball. This one could drop, and it's going to drop just inside the left field line. Klemp is going to score from second. Pataxel held up at third as the throw comes in from Biller. And Knight could have taken second, but he stays over at first. And so now the Pilots have runners on the corners with only 1 out, and they've cut into the lead with an RBI single by Briley Knight.
Yeah, unfortunate deal there for Briley Knight. I think he thought the umpire was a player running towards second. Briley catches the ball in the outer half, hits a little blooper that gets down the line. Great job scoring, but on the backside, vacated shortstop. And I'm not sure where the second baseman went, but Briley could have advanced to second on a vacated bag, but I think he thought that umpire might have been a player just out of his peripheral vision.
And now we get the bat that you said could be dangerous in this position. It's Evan Scavato. Gets it off the top of the net to our right. He'll fall behind 0-1 to start off this at-bat. Scavato was 1 for 2. He singled in the second, and then he flew out to center field his last time up in the fourth, and he barreled that ball. But Ornelas making a great play out in center. Throw over to first. Knight will get back safely. We'll reset at the 0-1.
You know, superstition in baseball, you know, when things are going great, you don't talk about it. I talked about base running way too much in the beginning, and now we don't get in advance.
Ground ball over to short. Taken in by Casillas. The throw over to first in time. They get the double play, but the Pilots do get one across thanks to an RBI single by Briley Knight. And you have to think, has he take that bag at second? Could still be in this one. We head to the 7th inning. Roberts, Casillas, and Zhao all coming to the plate next for LMU. We've got a tight one here at Joe Edsel Field. A 2-1 ball game right now as Joey Gartrell comes out for a 7th inning of work. He'll go up against Cole Roberts to start off the top of the 7th inning, but the Pilots got one thanks to an RBI single by Briley Knight to get the Pilots back into this one. Breaking ball from Gartrell falls for a strike. It'll be 0-1 to start off Roberts. Roberts is 2 for 2 today with 2 singles. Has not gotten past second base, though. Here's the 0-1 inside, and they're saying that one hit Roberts. That'll be the 3rd hit batter by Gartrell today. And that had to have brushed him. I didn't see much out of it. He didn't give much of a reaction outside of stepping towards first base. But that'll bring up Benny Casillas, who's 0 for 2 today. Had a double play back in the 2nd, and then he flew out to Briley Knight back in the 5th. So the leadoff man is aboard, squaring to bunt. Down the first baseline, it's going to be fielded by Gartrell. Underhand over to Tolia. Casillas gets the sacrifice bunt. Moving up to second is Cole Roberts. Here's a look at the hit batter.
Wow, what a sales pitch. Yeah, look at the sales pitch.
Wow, interesting one right there. Sadine Zhao comes to the plate. Zhao is 1 for 2 today. He's been on base twice, though. Got hit by a pitch in the 1st. Got his first stolen base of the season. And then he singled back in the 3rd. Ground ball hit over to short, taken by Spencer Scott. Comes up throwing, and in time to get Zhao over at first. 2 away. And that'll bring up Sam Biller. Biller is 0 for 2 today. A fly out, a pop out, and then a sacrifice bunt. I mean, Gartrell right now is doing a good job keeping the Lions in check. 92 pitches so far through 6 2/3. Looks back at Roberts, comes home with it. First pitch. Strike called on Biller. Starts him out 0-1. Biller does have 11 RBI on the season off of 21 hits. Batting .269 with runners in scoring position, .208 overall on the season. Gartrell missing away from the left-handed bat. That'll make it a 1-1 count. The 1-1. Drove into right field. Mensch coming in on it and will make the catch on the move. They strand the runner on after the hit batter reached base first. No runs come in to score. It remains a 2-1 ball game as we head to the bottom of the 7th. Get up and stretch. Sukata, Tolia, and Scott all come to the plate next for the Pilots on Portland CW. It's the bottom of the 7th inning here at Joe Edsel Field. Brian Slyke and Corey Keir with the call. Pilots trailing 2-1. LMU did their damage all the way back in the 1st inning. It was a 2-run home run by Diego Baquero with 2 outs. That gave LMU a 2-0 lead, and the Pilots got 1 run in the bottom of the 6th thanks to an RBI single by Briley Knight as Diego Barrera comes out for a 7th inning of work. It's only given up the 1 run so far today on 4 hits. 2-0 to start off Sukata. That one missing low and away. It's 3-0. Sukata taking all the way on that one, makes it a 3-1 count. Oh, correction, 2-2 count. Sukata's punched out looking. 0 for 3 on the day for Sukata. And that'll bring up Zach Tolia. Now, this part of the lineup right here, the bottom of the order went 1, 2, 3 on strikeouts against Barrera back in the 5th. We'll get another look at it right here. Yeah, good movement on that last one. Tolia swings at a breaking ball that drops. It'll be 0-1.
The zone has been expanded a little bit as of late. I think he got rattled a little bit by the hit batter. I don't think, I think he caught a little bit of heat from one of the dugouts. And then I'll be frank with you, I'm pretty sure there was catcher's interference on a ground ball out, and LMU put some heat on him as well. So one thing that happens with umpires or human beings, and if they feel like they maybe made a mistake, it turns into more sometimes. It's like if you're out there pitching and you make a mistake. You start thinking about your mistake, and then it turns into more.
Foul ball down the first baseline, and it'll be caught by Dylan Dennis on the warning track in foul territory. And there's 2 away for the Pilots here in the 7th.
And Brian, I still just can't get over how the 6th inning went. I mean, the 6th inning, the Pilots were in position to really have a big inning, and you know, I'm not sure what happened, but I feel like you and I talked about between innings, that little blooper that Knight hit, the shortstop and the third baseman went for it. The second baseman, I think, crossed to cover third.
Scott ropes one into left field and can't make in the diving catch. It's Sam Biller. Bit of an awkward dive right out there. Last second, couldn't come up with it. It'll be a single for Scott with 2 outs. You were saying though, Corey? Well, what we were talking about is that second baseman, though, sort of went towards third to cover the bag in case the backside runner was able to go all the way over there, and it left second vacated, in which Knight could have taken. But you were talking about how the first base umpire was making his way to second to get in position, and that might have thrown Knight off.
Yeah, 100%. That's what I think happened, but it's just such an unlucky chain of events because so the second baseman is trying to keep Briley Knight from going to third, because he thought that he was going to get the 2 no matter what. And I think Bradley got fooled by the umpire and how the umpire was working to the B position. And then, of course, the baseball gods. Poor Coach Loomis, he's down there. He's like, oh, we should have got to second base. And then the next pitch is a 2-ball, which, by the way, if Briley's on second base, is probably a hit up the middle because second baseman's holding in that situation. So, yeah, very unlucky turn of events. It could have been 3-2 here, really easy.
Instead, it's 2-1 still in favor of LMU with Scott over at first and a 1-2 on Mensch. Barrera closing in on 100 pitches. Here comes 99. Ends up in the left-handed batter's box.
But the best way to describe that is that's baseball. It's the little things.
Yeah. The 2-2 to Mensch. Barrera looks over at Scott at first. Inside and low for a ball. Makes it a full count now on Mensch. You have to think Barrera does not want to go up against Holcroft. He's hit a couple of hard hit balls. One of them actually ended up in a single, and he had 2 flyouts.
I got him coming right back in on Mensch.
Full count, 3-2, throw over to first. Scott will be back safely. These 2 teams sitting atop of the conference. The winner takes first place. Sole possession. Strike 3 called on Mensch. He did not like that call, and he's got a couple of words for the home plate umpire. Those 2 lock eyes, and that'll be it. We head to the 8th inning, middle of the order. Thomas, Baccaro, and Blau coming to the plate for LMU when we return on Portland CW. Top of the 8th inning here at Joe Edsel Field, a 2-1 ball game between the Portland Pilots and the LMU Lions. Winner takes sole possession of first place in the conference. As Jared Thomas steps to the plate to start off this 8th inning. Thomas is 0 for 3 today. Ground out to third to Scavato, ground out to Scott at short. And then his other at bat, he popped out to Scavato in foul territory. Here he pulls this one foul for a strike, 0-1. Gartrell closing in on 100 pitches. He's at 97. He's given up 6 hits through 7 innings of work, only 2 earned runs. And again, those 2 runs came off of 1 swing, a 2-run home run by Diego Baquero, the man that's on deck right now. The 1-1, no movement from the defense for Portland. Big swing and a miss on Thomas. Not enough bat on that swing, makes it 1-2. The 1-2 in the dirt. No chase from Thomas. The 2-2. Ground ball hit over to the right side, taken in by Pataxel. And easily throws over to first, 1 away. You know, I'm looking through all the plays right now. That's only the 2nd or 3rd ball hit over to the right side by LMU today. Everything's been played over by Scavato or Scott.
Yeah, Gartrell's done a really good job tonight. You know, gave up the 2 runs early, and he's came out and really battled, had some traffic and pitched around it. And, you know, when you look at the 2 different performances as Coach Lambert comes out to speak to Gartrell, the difference probably between Gartrell and Barrera is that Barrera was always in the strike zone, and Gartrell kind of pitched around the strike zone. And Barrera got some benefit of some calls because he hit the strike zone a lot. So it looks like Gartrell's night's over.
And Caden Siegel will come in for the Portland Pilots. Siegel will be coming in, making his 13th appearance on the season. That's the most by any Pilot so far this year. 2-1 record with a 2.25 ERA and a save to go along with it. He's thrown 20 innings of work, 18 hits, only 5 earned runs, 23 strikeouts to just 9 walks. He's sort of been the first man out of the pen for Portland in a couple of key situations so far this year.
Yeah, I've got to see him a couple times. I love his arm. I love how he attacks. He's got multiple pitches that he throws. And, you know, going back to Gartrell, just what a warrior he was. You know, the big thing about being a pitcher is that you get your name written in the lineup once a week, and you got to go out there no matter whether you're a C, a B, or an A. And you don't get to be an A very often. And when you come out and you're a C or you're a C+, you got to pitch to a B or a B+. And 100% Gartrell pitched to a B+ today. I bet you if you ask him, he would say this wasn't my best start. But look, he gave up 2 runs over 7 or 6 in the 3rd innings, 6 hits, did a hell of a job. Oh, heck of a job. Excuse me. I apologize.
Well, I will say, even those 2 runs, it's off of 1 swing right now, as it was just an elevated fastball that stayed a little high, and that's mainly the difference in the game right now. Otherwise, he's done a terrific job. I mean, back in the 3rd inning, he had a couple runners on, same with the 2nd inning, and he was able to get out of those jams, and I think that's going to play a big factor in what he's able to do, not only in the rest of this year, but going forward in his career on the Bluff. He's just dealt with tough situations, and he seems like he always comes out on top.
Yeah, again, we talked about the poise that he showed as a freshman, and the poise tonight when things didn't go great from early, and the traffic, and again, I think if you ask Coach Lambert, hey, well, this is what Gartrell's going to do every time, he'd sign up for it.
No.
Now, Gartrell, I guarantee when you talk to him in postgame, he's going to say, this isn't the best start that I've had. But he was a super competitor tonight. And, you know, when you got a little defense behind you and you compete, you know, good things happen. So, and that's the way the Pilots have been. I mean, Coach Lambert's just done a heck of a job with his pitching staff up here on the Bluff.
Final stat line for Joey Gartrell. He got through 7 1/3 innings of work on 101 pitches, gave up 6 hits, 2 earned runs, 3 strikeouts, no walks, but he did have 3 hit batters. That's something that he would like to have back. But overall, a great outing on the mound.
We're going to go ahead and say 2.5 hit.
2.5, you're right, you're right. That one by Roberts was well played by him. First pitch from Siegel in the left-handed batter's box to Baquero makes it 1-0.
Well, let's not be disrespectful to him, because maybe the umpire said, take your base. You know, we don't know what happened there, but it didn't look like it hit him. That's for sure.
I wasn't disrespecting him. I was doing a great job of his acting skills right there.
Well, we're saying that he's acting in respect to him and especially respect to his father, who's a pretty darn good baseball guy. We're not saying that he sold that or flopped or whatever.
No.
The umpire might have said, go to first base, you got hit. And no one's going to say, no, thank you.
You're right, yeah. Nobody's going to pass up the free base as Baquero fouls this off to our right. 2-1 count. Yeah, he comes from a baseball family, very high baseball IQ. Colt Roberts, the son of Dave Roberts, World Series champion with the Boston Red Sox and World Series champion as a manager for the LA Dodgers. As Baquero fouls it off behind us, 2-2 now.
That's got to be a fun club to be the manager of.
Right.
A lot of pressure, though. You're expected to win every year.
Well, with that payroll, yeah, you would have to expect that. The amount of money that they put into that lineup. Here's the 2-2. Big hole on the right side of the infield. Breaking ball popped up. Klemp gets into the field of play, loses his helmet. Now he's kicking it around. Talia will make the catch as he came down the line from first to make that catch. Klemp was playing a little soccer with his helmet right there between that and the base runner.
Out there watching those fantastic ladies over here on the bluff.
That pop-up will create the second out here in the 8th inning. And coming to the plate now is going to be Connor Blau. He's on the verge of losing his 16 game on base streak. So he's 0 for 3 today, 2 strikeouts and a ground out to Talia at first. Siegel drops that breaking ball in there for a strike. Far side of the plate, knee high, 0-1. Siegel, a local product from Portland, Oregon, went to Grant High School, spent 1 season at Lynn Benton Community College. The 0-1 just off the plate. Klemp couldn't bring it into the zone. It'll be 1-1.
Heck of a program down there at Lynn Benton. As a matter of fact, that's who I'm playing tomorrow. 1 o'clock start out at Sandy High School. Playing the defending champs.
Can't find the zone there. It'll be 2-1. Well, in the pen right now is Merrick Baldo for LMU. If Diego Barrera does not come back out for an 8th inning of work. Fouled off to our left. Evens the count at 2-2. Well, we've been fortunate that despite the pouring of rain just before this game started, we haven't had to deal with any rain here on the bluff. Here's the 2-2. Breaking ball just fouled off enough and snagged with one hand in the LMU dugout by one of the coaches. We'll go back to the 2-2. Pataxel has his feet in shallow right field. It's the second baseman. Here's the 2-2. Hit into right field. Mensch is going back. He's at the warning track. Gets behind it, and he'll make the catch on the track. 1-2-3 here in the 8th inning. The Pilots still trailing by 1 as we head to the bottom of the 8th. It's the top of the order. Jake Holcroft, Nick Klemp, and Ben Pataxel lead off the Pilots in the bottom of the 8th when we return on Portland CW. Welcome back to Joe Etzel Field. Bottom of the 8th inning, and Diego Barrera back out on the mound for LMU. And you have to think the lefty-lefty matchup right now, he's going up against Holcroft, and then he'll have to go up against the right-handed bat of Klemp and Pataxel. As Holcroft gets one off the end of the bat into left field. Biller gets behind it and makes the catch. One away to start off this 8th inning for Portland. They're just going to let Barrera go with it as Nick Klemp now comes to the plate. He's 1 for 3 today, a double in the 6th where he came around to score otherwise. Grounded out to first base, and then he popped out to the second baseman, Cole Roberts, his last, or back in the 3rd inning. Fouls off the first pitch here to be 0-1. Barrera's at 105 pitches right now. Through 7 1/3 innings of work. Klemp, one hopper over to Roberts, gets down to his knees to make the play, and the throw over to first in time retires Klemp. Difficult play for Roberts over there. Hard hit ball from Klemp.
Yeah, the one thing about Barrera tonight, he's worked very, very fast, and with the new pitch clock, you know, there's no slowing an arm down. In the past, to be honest with you, if I was in the Pilots dugout, I would have told our guys to take their time and let's slow them down a little bit. But with the new pitch clock, you just can't do that.
And it looks like we're going to have a pitching change for LMU, so Diego Barrera's day is going to be done. And it looks like number 17, Merrick Baldo, will be coming in now for LMU.
Need to tip your hat to a pretty darn good start, that's for sure. Both sides had great starts.
As Barrera hands off the call card for Baldo. Baldo's mainly been the closer so far this year. He recorded a pair of saves against Santa Clara this past weekend, and then he hadn't given up a run since the opening weekend series for LMU. All right, Corey. It's that time of the night. Back in 1969, this became an official stat in Major League Baseball. It's the first stat to be added to Major League Baseball since they added the RBI back in 1920. Bill Singer was the first one credited with this official stat back in 1969 against the Cincinnati Reds.
I'm going to guess a save.
You'd be correct. The first ever save was on this date back in 1969 as Bill Singer got it against the Cincinnati Reds. As you see, Merrick Baldo right there, 10 appearances on the season, 20 1/3 innings of work, 2-1 record with a 3.10 ERA, 23 strikeouts to just 5 walks for him so far this year.
Now, you made that way too easy, the timing of it. You got the closer in looking for a save.
Well, you know, I got to help you out a little bit, you know? Now, teams were actually using a save before 1969. It just wasn't an official stat. As Cardinals, Pirates, and Dodgers were using the word save since back in 1952. As Pataxel takes a strike here, it'll be 0-1. Now, the interesting thing about that game is Pataxel sent a ground ball over to third, taken in by Baquero, and in time we'll pick up that conversation when we return. A 1-2-3 inning for the Pilots at the plate as we head to the 9th inning. Final frame of work. Dylan Dennis, Devin Ornelas, and Cole Roberts all come to the plate for LMU next on Portland CW. Still got some energy going on here at Joe Etzel Field. See some of the student athletes for the Pilots cheering on the baseball squad today as Dylan Dennis leads off the 9th inning for LMU. He's 0 for 2 today, a ground out to Scavato at third and then a strikeout back in the 4th inning. He did reach base back in the 6th as he was hit by a pitch from Joey Gartrell. First pitch breaking ball from Cade Siegel is a strike, 0-1. Oh, 0-2 after the foul ball. The 2-1, excuse me, the 0-2 ends up as a 1-2. After that ball ends up in the left-handed batter's box. Big swing and a miss. Siegel gets the strikeout to start off the 9th inning. You know, Corey, we've been together for so long now that you know most of my trivia facts that we have going on.
Thanks for that credit. Here's another look at the strikeout. Just elevated fastball away.
As Siegel gets his 23rd strikeout on the season. Now he goes up against Devin Ornelas, who was 1 for 3 today. Singled back in the 2nd, flew out tonight back in the 4th, and then he popped out to Spencer Scott in foul territory back in the 6th. Bounced into the dirt. Klemp lost it. It'll even the count at 1-1. Yeah, this is the time of the year where you're going to get all those expansion teams who've gotten wins their first time around, as this ball missing low below the knees and out of the zone makes it a 2-1 count now on Ornelas. Back in 1977, this franchise got their first career victory. 2-1. Breaking ball, beautifully placed for a strike. It'll be 2-2. It's a win over the White Sox. It's 9-5. This franchise has won 2 World Series in their history as Siegel gets his 2nd strikeout of this inning.
Yeah, at first I was thinking Seattle Mariners, but then you said World Series, and then I got thrown off. Here's another look at the pitch. Siegel's just really attacking the top of the strike zone, man. He's doing a great job. And, you know, he's got a very good breaking ball that complements that up in the zone. I'm going to go with the Brewers.
You know, you are close.
Royals?
That's the following year, actually, because the Pilots, the Seattle Pilots, I should say, in '69, moved to Milwaukee for the '70s season thanks to Bud Selig. And they actually got their first win on this date, too. But that's not the team I'm talking about in 1977, as Roberts takes a strike there, 1-1.
The Royals?
It's not the Royals.
Okay.
It is a blue team, though. That's the most I'll give you. The 1-1.
Toronto Blue Jays.
You would be correct there, sir. 2-1 now on Roberts after that one just missed out of the zone.
Now, I want to tell you that I can't take credit for it because I saw in the background my brother just popped Jays up in the... So I don't want to cheat the game.
Roberts chasing on the breaking ball right there, and Siegel slipped on the mound. Doesn't matter for a strike, 2-2.
Let's look at it. Oh, little sniper.
Yep. Turf monster got him. Happy to see he's okay, though. Here's the 2-2 with 2 outs. Strike 3. Siegel gets him on a breaking ball. Strikes out the side in the 9th. Keeps it close. It remains a 2-1 ball game as the Pilots head to their final frame, their final 3 outs. It's the heart of the lineup. Knight, Scavato, and Sukata coming to the plate next on Portland CW. Comes down to the final 3 outs now for the Portland Pilots, as Briley Knight will lead things off in the bottom of the 9th inning. And Corey, this is a tight one. They've got their ace out of the bullpen right now, and Baldo, he's got 5 saves on the season so far. If he gets the 6th one here, he would lead the conference. He's their closer. He's their go-to guy. What do the Pilots need to do to try to get back into this one?
I mean, he attacks the strike zone with the fastball. I wouldn't miss the first fastball they get a chance to hit. He's got a velocity arm, and he's got a great-looking closer hat. It looks like he got it when he was a freshman.
Still rocking the same hat. First pitch is fouled away. Knight steps back into the box. Wind up and delivery. Strike right there, no doubt about that one. 0-2 now on Knight. Knight on the day is 1 for 3. 2 flyouts and an RBI single. That's the only run that the Pilots have scored today. Roberts' feet are in shallow right field. Time called. For a guy who likes to pull the ball a bit, the right fielder right now, Hadim Zhao, is playing in right center field. And there, that one's gonna drop. It's gonna be a 2-bagger for Knight. And there it is. 2-hopper off the wall. Just getting to it is Zhao, and it's a stand-up double for Briley Knight to start off the bottom of the 9th.
Man, he's got lightning hands, man. That ball was in, and just absolute lightning for hands. Watch this. Whack.
Wow. Well, now the tying run is in scoring position with Evan Scavato at the plate. Scavato is 1 for 3, singled in the 2nd, flew out to center back in the 4th, and then hit into a double play back in the 6th. And now you're going to get the corner infielders playing in. Dennis over at first and Baquero over at 3rd. Toes are on the infield grass. Scavato squares to bunt, puts it out in front of the mound. It's going to be played by Baldo into the dirt and gloved by Dennis. And so now the tying run is 90 feet away after the sacrifice bunt.
Great bump execution by Scavato there.
As Jake Sukata now steps to the plate. Sukata's 0 for 3, a fielder's choice, a strikeout looking, and then he also flew out to center field back in the 4th. Check swing, fouled off. And the infield being pulled in right now for LMU to prevent a run coming in to make a play at the plate.
Yeah, you don't need room service here on this pitch. He's going to be attacking the outer half of the strike zone. You need to get your barrel in the strike zone.
Big breaking ball right there. First strike on Sukata makes it 0-2 now. See if he has ice in his veins. Stays patient at the plate. Base hit ties this game up. Here's the 0-2. Breaking ball. Good patience right there by Sukata not to chase on that one.
The big question is the breaking ball come again, or is he going to get a heater?
So they go back with a breaking ball on him.
I think he's going with his best pitch, velocity up.
Velocity at the knees, ends up with strike 3 on Sukata. 2 away. Now it comes down to the final at-bat of Zach Tulia, who's 0 for 3 today. Tulia flew out to center, struck out back in the 5th, and then he popped out in foul territory to Dylan Dennis back in the 7th. Tulia, the slightly open stance. First pitch, fouled off. Start out 0-1. Just seems like an elevated fastball.
Both Tulia and Sukata go check swing on their first velocity fastball. Gonna have to fight now. It's gonna be a war here for the last couple pitches.
Breaking ball, swing and a miss for strike 2. Now do you think you go elevated fastball on him?
Hard to say, man.
We have seen Tulia take advantage of that.
Pilots down to their final strike, tying run at third. The 0-2, swing and a miss. Tolia goes down, and LMU takes game 1 of the 3-game series with the Pilots, and they take sole possession of first place in the West Coast Conference.
Yeah, what an incredibly played game by both teams. You know, one little base running error we talked about at the start of the game. I had mentioned that I thought that base running was going to be the key. We had the little base running, and I'm not even going to call it an error. I'm just going to call it was a circumstance thing where they didn't get there. It turned into a double play. Should have been a tie ball game. That should have been for the winning run. And yeah, the Pilots will bounce back tomorrow, but you got to tip your hat to the pitching with LMU. You got to tip your hat to how great they were with their bats today. But the Pilots played good baseball, and tomorrow 2 games, and that's the great part about this thing is 24 hours from now they'll be playing 2.
Not even 24 hours. First pitch is going to be at 11 a.m. tomorrow for the doubleheader between Portland and LMU on the WCC network. That was Corey Keir. I'm Brian Slyke. Thank you to the production crew. You guys are always the best. We can't do it without you. Until next time, thank you for tuning in on Portland CW. It's LMU who takes the game against Portland 2-1 tonight.